In the early 1800s, America was expanding rapidly. But beneath the surface, the country was deeply divided. Northern states were becoming industrial powerhouses. The South, meanwhile, depended heavily on agriculture and on slavery. As the country grew, tensions escalated. Would new states allow slavery? Who held more power? The federal government or individual states? When Abraham Lincoln was elected in 1860, Southern states saw it as a threat to their way of life. Within months, 11 states had seceded from the Union and formed the Confederate States of America. The country was now split in two. The Civil War officially began in April 1861, when Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter in South Carolina. What followed was 4 years of bloodshed. Families were divided, sometimes literally. Brother fought against brother. Neighbors became enemies. The battles were brutal. New technologies like rifled muskets, ironclad ships, and railroads made warfare deadlier than ever before. This wasn't a war fought by professional armies alone. It was a war of citizens. Millions of them swept into a conflict over the very soul of the nation. Some of the most infamous battles in American history happened during the Civil War. Antietam, the single bloodiest day in American military history. Gettysburg, a 3-day clash that left more than 50,000 dead or wounded. Many consider it the turning point of the war. Vicksburg, which gave the Union full control of the Mississippi River, cutting the Confederacy in two. Each of these battles came with unimaginable loss, but also shifted the tide of war in the Union's favor. At first, Lincoln's goal was to preserve the Union, but by 1863, the war's purpose had shifted. With the Emancipation Proclamation, Lincoln declared that enslaved people in Confederate states were free. The war was no longer just about keeping the country together. It was about ending slavery. Black Americans, both free and formerly enslaved, began joining the Union Army in large numbers. Their contributions were critical to the Union's success. The war had become a battle not just for unity, but for freedom. In April 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Union General Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. The war was over, but the cost was staggering. More than 600,000 dead, entire regions of the country destroyed. President Lincoln would be assassinated just days later, leaving the nation to rebuild without the leader who had guided it through its darkest hour. The Civil War led to the end of slavery, but not the end of struggle. Reconstruction brought new challenges, and the promise of civil rights would take another century to fully take shape. Even today, debates over race, federal versus state power, and national identity echo the issues that ignited the Civil War. The Civil War wasn't just a historical event. It was a defining moment, one that continues to shape America's laws, culture, and politics. It showed how fragile democracy can be, and how hard people will fight for freedom, identity, and belief. So, was the Civil War the deadliest war in American history? Absolutely. But more than that, it was the most transformational. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new, give this video a like and hit subscribe for more stories that shape the world.